All right. So this is being recorded. I'll probably put it up on YouTube later on. We'll see. All right. So I want to go over a few trades from this week. This was one I took on Friday, and I'll pull it up. And this was market open right here. When you see strong action like that, so I unfortunately can't do a rewind on that, but let me do a rewind from there. So market opens up, right? A lot of people will start buying right here in this candle. I do not recommend that because the option prices have not settled yet. You want to give it time, 10-15 minutes. You can always buy it right away, but you want to know what you're doing. If you're pretty new to options, I do not recommend buying options at open. You want to wait 9:45, 10 before you start buying options. Prices need to settle. The market needs to pick a direction, or you will get faked out, right? So this was a trade I took, and you can see right here. So let me slow this down, right? Let me go down 3 minutes, and let me jump a couple back here. And you can see here, right? So let me do that. All right. You get in on the candle here. It opens up, right? And then it's red, right? When it goes down there, if you're playing 0-day options, you're 20% down easy, right? When it moves down like that, and then you get out, and then you get faked out, right? Goes up, goes down. When you play 0-day expiry, you see that will fake you out, especially if you have like a stop loss, or you put a trailing stop loss even, that will kick you out. When you're playing 0-day, you want to be very careful how you do these. You want to give it enough room so that you can ride it out, but you don't want to have it too tight. And a lot of people I see, they get faked out, right? So normally I would enter around this candle here, right? And this was a trade I took. I took a 42 call for Friday, and you can see this going almost to 43 some point. But when you see green movement like that, right, you look at the other indicators, you can start seeing we're close to hitting a top here, right? It moves up, but we're still strong down here. There's high volume, and that was my exit, that one there, right? I got out there. It kept going on a bit more. Yeah, you can see that kept going a bit more, but I was happy. I captured that to that, which was about I think 92%, right? And you can see that's where most people get out. It starts coming back down. Let me speed this up. Okay, goes sideways. Sideways here kills all the premiums. And you can see it starts now kicking out other people. It goes back up. You can ride this day couple times in the day. I do like Riot and Mara as a 0-day play, especially due to how Bitcoin ramps up into the weekend, right? And let me pull this up, 15 minutes. This was yesterday, right? And you can see it just, so let me do hourly instead.
What's that?
So this was Friday. It ramps up, right? If we look at the Friday before that, you will see that it does the same pattern every weekend. It ramps up into the weekend. It will come back down, but it's a good time to play Bitcoin plays, Mara, Riot. I know a few people like to play SOS. I have never played that. Someone has their mic open. Okay, I'm gonna have to mute you. All right. Some people like to play SOS. I have never played it. I try to stay away from plays that are being heavily shorted by multiple hedge funds. people like it because of the short squeeze it can potentially do. I just think there's better plays out there, right? I think this is another one people like to play, and I think this is shorted too. Anyways, back to, you can see Mara did the same thing, right? And when you get that high volume movement at open, right? That is a strong movement, and you can see it failed the previous day to break here, failed to break here, and just that 2 candle right at open, it already went through that, right? So that's a good high probability trade to go long in that case. And I normally go right at the money, or I will go maybe $1 out of the money with 0-day plays, because they move so fast. You can be 20-30% up in a couple of minutes. 0-day plays, don't be greedy. The longer you're in it, the more you're losing. You want to get in, get out, make your money, right? Don't think about 500% or whatever, right? And you can see here we started hitting some resistance. Let me pull up some lines. So this was one of the areas here I watched, and when he broke through that, let me change it to resistance. When he broke through that resistance, you can see he just went up, started coming back down, and it does that every Friday, right? You don't need so many plays, you just need a few that you keep watching. Let me pull up another one. What play did we have? I think we had... Yeah, so this was Mara, this was Riot, right? Okay, we had a Twitter play a few weeks ago. We had an AI play. So let me pull up. I normally start on the daily time frame, and action like that. It depends on where you get in, right? If you get in at the bottom here, that's you can know that's a bottom because of the previous reaction zones, right? That one there, that one there, and that one there. These are all reaction points that it bounced off, and when it came back down here, you have a higher probability of bouncing back up than you trying to get in somewhere here, right? You can also see the momentum, the bearish momentum was weakening down here, so that's a good spot to add. Let's look at our moving averages. Now that one, let's look at that one. You can see that's the 21-week moving average, came back down, tested that, and it bounced back up, right? I recommend you guys use moving averages. It adds to your trading skill set. It's not always, it doesn't always work, but it's gonna help you make better trades, right? This is one I took and I actually got burnt on this, right? So this is, I was watching this, charted it in pre-market. Let me pull this up. It was, yeah, it was down here in pre-market, right? 663, 664. I was looking at this and it came up to 695. Now I have had 694, 695 as a support slash resistance for a while, and I'll just do a 2 hour so you guys can see that. You can see here resistance, 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 and support, support, support came down. Now I was expecting it to act as a resistance, and you can see all the way going back, right? I got faked on that, and it bounced up here. I got in a put at 695 right at the money, a 0-day put right here. It went down a bit and then it came back up. As soon as it closed, I think it was this candle here, it closed this candle here above the 695. I got out with about a 18% loss, and you can see what just happened, right? And I should have switched to a call, because you can see what happens between these two zones, right? 695, it comes up and tests 717, 718, and it happens a few times. You can see here, breaks that, goes up, touches it, breaks that, goes up, right? Breaks that, goes up. Every time it does that, it closes that gap between 695 and 718. It's a $10-15 move, which is a lot when you're doing options. But I didn't play that. I got burnt. I was like, okay, I'm out. I stayed out. There was a lot of good trades you could have made, but that dump there at the end of the day, that should have been, once you close down under that area there, once you close down that, right, that's your exit. You know you want to get out, and you can see, right? Let me turn that off. Some people don't. Some people stay in, and they're like, oh, I'm going to average down. Where are you averaging down to, right? The next support is down here, right? There's nothing in the middle here for you to be like, oh, it's going to bounce. That's just, it's a Friday bounce, right? So that was a few trades I took this week. Let me go over a few stock trades that I took. Okay, this was one I took maybe end of last week, right? I'll change that. That's fine. And this is a falling wedge pattern. Comes down here, bounces up, comes down here, bounces up, comes down here, bounces up, comes down here, bounces up. So that's a strong trend support line, and I got in here at $18, right? It moved to 23. I locked about half in here, and I'm holding the rest, right? I watched their CEO speak the other day, and they are mining 2 Bitcoins a day right now. They expect that number to be 24 Bitcoins by September of 2022. They are not a Bitcoin miner per se. They are a microgrid software company. They specialize in green energy, alternative energy. They actually bought out a company in Australia that mines Bitcoins, and they leveraged their energy business to make it as efficient as possible. It costs them $4,500 to mine 1 Bitcoin, and the price of Bitcoin right now is just under 60,000. So they are making about 90% in profits for every Bitcoin they mine. They started mining in January of this year. I think they said they mined 65 Bitcoins in March, which was just under 3.3 million in revenue, right? All of last year, they only made 10 million in revenue. So this company has a lot more to offer. They hit 42 at one point here, and then it started coming back down. They didn't, I think there was a short seller report. They did an offering at this point here at a $23 price. Came all the way down to about 17, and it's now bouncing back up. If you want to get in long and you want to get into something that is not directly tied to Bitcoin, but it leverages Bitcoin, this is a good play. I think they only, how long have they been in here? A while, not too bad. They reduced their cost for mining Bitcoin from 6,000 to 4,500 in the 3 months since they started. So they're making more money on each Bitcoin. When they started mining, they were gonna sell 1 Bitcoin and keep 1 Bitcoin, but they only sold 2 and they kept the rest. So they have quite a few Bitcoins. It's a good play, I think, personally. I'm doing shares because it's volatile. It can go up and down. You can get leaps on this. I would say at least 20-22 leaps. Don't go too far out. $25 strike, it's decent. $30 strike. I've seen people go to a $60 strike, and I think that's just a bit too far out. You want to go at the money or close to the money. Okay. All right. Let me pull up. Let me see if there's any questions here. All right. You guys don't have any questions. If you guys have any questions, just shoot them in here or open your mic, and we can respond to any questions. Okay. All right. Any trades you guys want me to go over? Any charts? No, nothing. All right. So the indicators I use are I use the RSI, I use the MACD, right, and the moving averages. These are what I use almost for every trade. I look at the pink line here is the 21-day exponential moving average. The blue line here, that is the 50-day simple moving average. And the gray line here, that is the 200-day simple moving average. The other ones I use are the 21-week exponential moving average, 34-week exponential moving average, and 55-week. I don't use much else. I also use the volume profile. Few people have asked me where I get this from. If you go into indicators, go down to volume profile, and I use the visible range volume profile. I have mine configured to ticks per row, and I have this at 100% as a volume area. You can always change those colors as you want. What the volume profile will show you is where the most volume has been traded for what you have on the screen on there, right? And you can see here, so there was a volume node up here, right? A lot of volume was traded here, and there was more volume here, which is the bouncing we've gotten, right? The actual support is here. This is where most of the people got in since July of last year, right? There is a volume gap, as you can see, between these two. If this area breaks, it will come back down to 292. Not that it's gonna get there, right? But that's how the volume profile works. Let me turn off this other stuff. I'll pull up Costco. This was a good example. You see that bounce there? That's not a coincidence, right? That's these people who bought in and have an average price of 307. That's these people buying it and bidding it back up, right? And you can see how strong a reaction that was, right? From that day, that was March 5th. In about a month and a half, it moved $70, right? It's a good tool to have. And you can see the more you zoom out or the more you zoom in, the different the volume profile is. You want to make sure you get a good picture, right? But you can see why this is where the area the most volume was traded, right? And you can also see this, right? Volume gap, and from here to here, it took about 3 sessions to get there, right? Volume gaps will get filled pretty quickly. You can see the same thing here, right? On both directions, right? You can see how fast it dropped from there to there and then to there. Because those are volume gaps, that means there's no one buying in there. It's just falling through, right? So that is Costco. There's also Walmart. Again, the same thing, right? You can see here, these are volume gaps, right? This one here, I believe this was actually moving average bounce. Maybe not. So you get these bounces on high volume nodes, right? Came back down, tried to hold, failed, came back up, and now it's pushing back up, right? And what this means is when you're going on your way up, these high volume nodes are now areas of supply. So there's a lot of supply here it has to chew through before it makes another leg up, right? When it gets through that, it's gonna make this $5 move pretty quickly, right? And that's how you use your volume profile. There's a lot of videos on YouTube on how to use this. I'm not gonna go into very much detail over it, but if you have any questions, hit me up, let me know. I do have a couple books on it. Pretty interesting books. I recommend you guys all check it out. All right, let's look at a couple other things. Yeah, Envis. Okay, hold on. Envis. I traded this a while ago, but I've not been in. I actually played this on the earnings here. I got $16 puts, and the reason for that is it always does this. I've played it since this earnings call, right? And every time it ramps up into earnings. Let me turn off this. You can see that, right? It ramps up into earnings, disappoints, comes back down. Ramps up into earnings, disappoints, comes back down, right? Same thing every time, right? I don't know why people expect differently. The only reason this is running that much is because of the buyout rumors, which it will eventually happen, but you just don't know when. And I don't know why they expect it's going to be during an earnings call. It's not going to be during an earnings call, right? Just one day it's going to be announced. Anyways, strong support really is this $10 area, which I do expect it to come back down and touch this. Let me pull up. Do I have lines? I do have lines. Yeah, you can see there. It did regain this trend line that it had made from December, going all the way up, bounced up, broke down, came back down here, bounced, and it recaptured that. So that's a good sign. It pushed back up. If it had closed below that, I would say $10 incoming for sure. But knowing Envis, I still think it's going down just based on the ER hype. You can see it made, what's that, 100%, 200% move from $10 to almost $30 in a few days, right? And that's just running into the earnings. There's no news that made it go up that way. So that's going to come back down. Okay, future, hold on. If this does come back down to about $10, I'll start scaling in. Really, I want to get in at about the $5 and $6 range, but $10, it's not bad. I'll get in there, do a few leaps. Nothing crazy, but I wouldn't do like, you know, a month out or 2 months out. No, I would do at least 6 months out, even longer. If you looked at their earnings call, or if you looked at their report they had, they did say that they have cash flow till the end of the year. After that, they're gonna have to raise some money. So they've been saying that since June of or May of last year, and I think they've done 2 offerings so far, which is where they raised all their capital. Considering this has been, well, the company has been trying to get bought out since April of last year, and we're almost hitting May now. It's a bit worrisome that, you know, no one has come forward to buy them out. They did announce they had a working LiDAR product, but if all the big dogs want their products, why is no one stepping forward with a bid, right? Why is no one coming forward and being like, oh, we're gonna buy you out? Okay. I think the next one was Voodoo. All right. This was in a flag pattern I had charted out. I would not get in at this point until it breaks this upper trend line here. Right now, it's just going to be sideways, 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 sideways. I think we might come back down and test this trend line again here. And then if we break the upper trend line, that's my entry. Other than that, I wouldn't get in on that one. It did have a monster move, yeah, $39 to almost $200. It did have a monster move, so it's gonna be a sideways consolidation for a while. When stocks have a move like that, you know, 400, 500%, they go sideways for a while, catching their breath, and then they make the next move up. Amazon, let's look at Amazon here. So I have quite a few lines on here. Let me do 5 minutes. All right, so this was the previous resistance line. I had it 3547. And if you look at the 5 minute, that's exactly where it rejected here, right? Went up, boom, hit that, couldn't break, came back down. Came back here, made a small $25 bounce, and it sold off at the end of the day. I had a bear call spread on this. I actually got out with a loss somewhere in that candle. If I held through the day, I would have actually made money on that, right? Because it closed 3467, which is where I bought it. But with the earnings number it had, it was it made a pretty good move. The reason it sold off is those rumors about the split. I knew that wasn't gonna happen during an earnings call. So, you know, people were buying into it and hoping that it goes up because of that. When they do announce a split, this is gonna go to 4,000 pretty easily. Some people are saying it's probably not gonna be announced because Bezos has been against a split. He's trying to do what Buffett is doing, right? So possibly that doesn't happen. But what that's going to do is it's going to price out a lot of retail traders from trading this. The more expensive it gets, the less people are going to be trading this. It's only going to be the big money doing that. So, all right. Let's look at a few other ones. I think someone had asked about AI. AI broke downtrend, sideways, downtrend again. Broke out here, came up, downtrend. This here is now a resistance. Let me change these to red. This here needs to close above and start making a move over 76 for any movement upwards. Yeah, you can see most of the volume is traded here. When it makes that move, it's gonna make a almost a $20 move pretty quickly to fill that volume gap, right? So that's gonna be pretty fast. They don't have earnings until a while away, so there's not gonna be a run up or anything. I would do over 72. If it closes above that, I would do a 75 or an 80 call at least 2-3 months out. Give it time to play out, but when that moves, it's gonna go. Okay. Any other questions? All right. Okay. I think someone was looking at Jumuiya. Let me close that. All right. It made a head and shoulder here, which it invalidated when it bounced here. If it had closed under that 32 support line, that would have gone down to about 24. So I'm actually gonna delete that. All right, that's not working anymore, but you can see it's trying to hold this 32 line, which is also the 200 moving average is right under here, 28. For a move up, you want to start seeing this 50-day and this 21-day curling back up, right? When these are curling down, it's never a good sign. You don't want to get in when these are curling down. You want to get in when these are going up, right? If you do want to take a position here, your stop loss could be at the 200 moving average, which is about 28.80. That's where I would stop out. I would do shares on this. It's sideways for a while. They might have our earnings run up here, but it did disappoint here. Yeah, it did. So you want to be careful of that. When these are trending down, you don't want to get in. You want to get in when they're going up, right? Okay, let's look at a couple other. Boeing. Man, this thing, when it moves, it will move about $30-40, but when it's just going down, it's so disappointing. It's just a big premium junkie. It costs a lot for something that's just gonna expire worthless. So now it has a lot of resistance to get through. 237, 244, 253 to 256, 263, 278. So there's quite a bit for it to go over there. LMT, I think Alex played LMT recently. Yeah, I think he did. LMT. I would wait for a crossover here, maybe a sideways consolidation before another move up. I like when they are sideways like that after a downtrend. That indicates the selling pressure is almost over, and you know, you can start taking position in there. UAL, this is one that played a couple times, comes down, goes up based on the reopening, right? It's not even at the highs before COVID, but it's gonna take a while to go back up there because they're not making any revenue, they're not making profits. So it's gonna be in a sideways movement here, bouncing between 56, 60, coming back down until it gets another push with the reopening news. Okay,
PLTR.
yeah, we can look at PLTR. All right, let me see. Let me turn that off. PLTR. I do like that it broke above this trend line here. It did come back down to touch it as support, which it's holding up, so that's a good sign. I have a few shares on this, no options, and I know Cathy Wood has been loading up on this. They had a event on April 14th, which it pumped it up to 26, but it sold off pretty quickly. This is being shorted as well, right? So any pops are going to be shorted unless you know, it starts squeezing. So right now any pops going to be sold off. You can see that happening here and here. Now let me pull up. Okay, I use Quant for option flow, and we'll go over a few things here. PLTR, let's look at this. Okay, there's quite a few, so I'm gonna do anything over 100. All right. Okay, so let's look at anything out of the money. There we go. So you can see right away these are all long dated options, right? 2021, that's August, that's June, January 2023. There's nothing for May in here, there's nothing for April in here, right? April's over, but there's nothing short term. A lot of these people are betting on something long term happening, and these are, that one's not bad. That was at 24 and he got a 25 call, whoever that person is, right? And that has good volume, that has good OI. So this is one I wouldn't mind taking, right? For $1.76, well, it's going to be a lot cheaper now. I would go closer. So this is a 23. I would do 23 or 24. This one here, that's not bad either. That was $4, pretty cheap. When this thing moves, it's going to move, but it's just going to take time. That has a 35,000 OI, so that's a pretty good one. But you want to wait for confirmation that it's starting an uptrend, right? 2350 is key for it to start moving up. It has to close over, and you have to start seeing signs of buyers stepping in. Right now, it's just going to be a bit more sideways until we get something to jolt this up. I was looking at this for an earnings play. This broke my downtrend. It bounced here. Is their earnings coming up? I believe their earnings is coming up. Okay, hold on, ABT. And the reason this caught my eye is okay, you can see the 29th and the 30th, actually the whole week, all of last week, right? Puts, people are getting $18 puts, $22 puts for November. Buying that into earnings is a bit of a concern, but knowing, yeah, see its previous earnings, it didn't do so good. This could possibly be a good earnings play to play the downside, right? Again, earnings are 50-50. They're a coin toss. You can't take flow just as it is. You want to look at other factors too. You want to look at their peers in the industry, how they reported, how the market reacted, stuff like that. This is one that I'm in. I have a spread for May 21st. I actually think we might get a run up. We have what, 2 weeks to the earnings call, and it only has to move about $2. So this one here, I'm still holding my spread. I think it can go higher. Okay, ABT. ABT, what I saw was at the end of the day, it pushed up and closed just above that trend line. That's a very good sign, and you can see this is where the sell-off happened, and this is the push into close. The last half hour of the market, it just pushed up about 50 cents, right? That is a very good sign that it pushed back up. If it had closed below that, I would be concerned with that. It's a trend line established from June, and it's never closed below that, right? That is still intact. I think Alex had a line here.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he had a 1904 line right there, right? If it closed below that, that would have been pretty bad. You get out, right? Because that's your support, and I'm guessing he's going from that candle there where it bounced back up. You want to make sure that you're playing trends. You want to go the market direction, right? You don't want to just be in there thinking you got the bottom. You're gonna ride it back up. No, don't try to catch a falling knife. You're gonna get burnt on that, right? That was a good play. If you can see, can I see my trend line? Right. So it needs to go a bit more to actually close over that, but on the daily, that's a good sign. ABT, they had good earnings, right? Oh no, they didn't. So that one's not bad. All right, let me pull up. What did I want to go over? Right. Someone had asked me about MVIS. Hold on. Okay. This is Quant that I use. Is this the one? Maybe not. Let me see. This is the dashboard for Quant. They do have a news section right in here, which I don't think I used Cheddar, and Cheddar does not have that. This is pretty useful. You get your news right here. You can filter it. You get dark pool flow on the side here. Right here is the main dashboard. You can filter by ticker, by premium, money type, contract type, trade type, golden sweeps, opening positions, unusual trades. A few of the things that I've noticed that Quant has that Cheddar and Flow Algo don't is they provide ask side and bid side. I'm pretty sure Cheddar only gives ask side. So you get that information as well. They are making improvements to this dashboard. Right now they don't have filter to search everything. So right now if you want to search for news, you have to do it individually. If you want to search for the dark pool, you have to do it individually. So they're gonna tie that all in together. They also do have this Quant Alerts, which are like AI alerts on Cheddar, and they're pretty good. And then they have, this is the order history, this is the news section, stock reports. This is one I think I showed you guys an example. They have really good reports, right? These are really detailed, and this is also a premium service, but you get it included in here. Any stock you want, you will see a report on here. Look at Amazon, submit, and you can see, right? It will give you a lot of details. It will give you competitors. It will give you earnings outlook, price targets, everything you can think of. earnings per share. It's a full comprehensive report. What else does it have? It has profit calculator. It's not the best one. I prefer to use this one. This is what I use, but I know they're improving this as well. It's pretty good. Let's see what that is. Okay. Okay, that's not bad. I know Neo disappointed on earnings. I normally will not play earnings a lot. I will do the occasional earnings, but I don't play it every week. Neo, I got shares on this. It broke out here at 36, hit 43, and it came back down due to the earnings. If it comes back down to 35, I'm gonna be adding more. I do have a $60 2023 leap on this. I'm down about 30%, but it's 2023. I'm not too worried. There is a lot of overhead supply, but once this starts moving back up and the sector gets hot again, this will move pretty quickly. They do announce a lot of partnerships. They do announce a lot of good PR coming out. I think there was one saying they're trying to get into Germany. Yeah, they're trying to get into Germany. So where is it? Yeah, so there's a few. They're gonna have to fight with Volkswagen, but if they get into Germany, that's a good sign that the company is growing. All right, so I saw someone typing, but no one's here. Okay. All right. Any questions you guys might have? If you guys have any, questions on anything, just hit me up. Let me know. I do have a couple books. Hold on, let me pull up a book. Let me see. Okay, this is a book I use for chart patterns. I recommend everyone read this at least once. There's about 50 patterns in here. This is a free book, right? If you don't have it, send me a message. I'll give this to you. And the reason this is pretty good is it will give you examples right away, right? So let me, so that's a broadening top, bottom, and you can see an example. It gives you what you need for the volume to confirm a breakout. That's what you want. It gives you how to measure what movement is gonna be, right? And it gives you statistical notes, right? It tells you if it's a bullish or a bearish one. There's 50 patterns in here. You don't need to know all 50. You only need to know about 15 to 20 of these, right? Cup and handles, those are extremely common. You want to know double top, double bottom, right? Flags, these are pretty good. They have high probabilities of working out. Gaps, not so much, but those, if you catch those are pretty good. Head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders. I don't do all these other ones. I do rounding bottoms, rounding tops, and 3 falling picks, 3 rising valleys, and the triangles, right? And the wedges. So there's about 15 to 20 in here. This is pretty good. And you can see, we'll show you, right? Measured move, target move, the volume, what you need to watch out for the volume. Volume is so important. Volume is extremely important. So let me turn this off, and you can see, so this is a gap, right? Gapped up on high volume, came back down, and you can see right here it never closed below that. That right there, that will show you that this is being supported, right? These people pushed it back up. When it closed above there, that was your entry. Go in, came back down here, you can get in. This was a volume gap on earnings again, but you see how we closed below that, right? when it started closing below that, you know you're losing that support area. So they're gonna let this come back down. Came back down to pre-earnings, bounced up, came back down, and then it made a trend line. And I played this as a stock entry here, this day here, right? Closed above this resistance here, which is a resistance here. Strong candle, and I got out, I think I got in 572, and I got out 605, 606. So I got out somewhere here. Yeah, this day where it closed below my trend line, right? You can see it kept going more, about $30, $40 more, but I played my rules, and my rules were the trend line. That's my support line, right? Close below that, I get out. I don't care if it keeps going more. I'll find another trade. But you need to have a set of rules that you're following. You don't need to be chasing every trade, right? This is one that, you know, sideways consolidation, and you can see boom, right? After a downtrend, sideways consolidation, that's a good sign. It moves up. That was a $5 move in like 4 or 5 days, right? This is one I saw which had flow. It consolidated at all-time highs here, and boom, right? So you don't always need to play Tesla or, you know, Nvidia or Netflix or Amazon. Diversify. Look at other sectors. Look at other players out there. This is one I'm watching. It's consolidating here. It's been between this 25 and 20 zone here. Once it breaks out, that is my entry. This is the one I was mentioning on Friday. This is most likely a reopening play. I would really like it to break this 150 area and get in there, but you can take a small position here with a stop loss at 141. You want to go June or July at least. Don't go too tight. So, all right. Okay. Any questions you guys might have? Okay, I did ABT, PLTR, MVIS, and Fudu. Okay. Oh, a few resources that you guys might want to check out. So I use IBD, I think it's called IBD Stock of the Day. These are pretty good. You can actually get these for free, I think, on Twitter. They will highlight stocks that are into buy zones, right? Pretty solid. And so let's look at that one. HubSpot on April 23rd. So I think that was this day, right? So 565, it made about a $10-15 move. It's coming back down. That is a failed breakout. Their breakout they had was this line here, right? And when it broke, so it came back down, made sort of a handle, and it broke here with high volume. But that is a failed breakout. Your stop loss is right here. That's where you stop out, right? Stop out, you wait it out. If it goes back up, you get back in. That will happen. Not every trade will work out. Expedia. This was, where was it? April 22nd. Expedia. So this day here. This day here, they got in. It moved about $6, whatever. It's at their entry, right? So this is a pretty good resource. I do like their stock of the day. There's plays you can find in there that really work really well. This was Tesla, and I think on that day, April 12th, right? So let's take a look. April 12th, it was 702. That's where their entry. April 12th, this day here, they got in 702, and it made almost a $80 move, right, in 2 days. So This one here, 108 FND. So they got in this day, right? And he made $10 move in that time, right? Now you don't need to ride this forever. You need to have your stop loss in. You don't need to take all of them. You just need to know the ones which are good. I think this one's right. When did they get in? $13. $13 on the 7th. So they actually got in here, came back down, and it bounced back up. Now you'd most likely be out of that trade when it closed that candle that one day. You'd be out of that trade, right? But when it recaptured that 13 level, that's your entry again to go back in. You always keep these. You'll see I don't delete my watch list. I keep them in there, and I just always go back and look, right? What's a good one? This is one we had played previously. I would take an entry here at 69, looking for a push to 80, right? And it can make them move pretty easily. Now this was earnings, so that's good. Post earnings, you look at that play. This one is, I actually wanted to get in on this one on this day here, but it broke down and I said I'm gonna wait it out. Another level I was watching was 130, but it broke that, so I'm gonna sit this one out until we get a direction. This one here, it's going down because their CEO stepped down and they switched to a new CEO, and investors don't have faith in the direction the company is going anymore. So considering this was a $220 stock in September, it's now at a 50% discount. It's lower than before the pandemic, right? It's a good company, but it needs to find a floor before we get into that one. But I'll leave it here, right? And I'll come back to it. This is one we played before. You see this sideways here? It's gonna make a move soon. It could be a week, it could be a month, right? You just wanna wait for a strong initiation before you get in. This is one that crapped on earnings, bounces back up. Post earning plays, really good, especially strong companies. You wanna get in. This is one that, here, IBM, right? Crapped 10% after earnings. Sideways, sideways, sideways. You get in somewhere here and it moves up, right? Look at that. From there, it's about a $20 move. You wanna get in post earnings on strong companies that had good quarters, but the market just beat it down. Either the market is weak or they didn't like, like it was hyped up or something. You want to get in, right? This was one I have played previously. Post earnings craps, you get in somewhere here and you can see strong companies will bounce back. Don't play speculative companies. Don't play, like QS. That's not a strong company. I see people, thinking, oh, it's gonna bounce back up. No, it's not. You don't know that. It can, yes, but you don't know that because there's no history behind that company, right? People like to play, like all these other companies. So this is another one that's pretty good. They have their earnings coming up, and trend line breakout, boom. Billy is one I've seen people play. I would wait for earnings to get out of the way for some of these, and then I get in there. This is I remember we played this here and it had an earnings gap up of about 7%. These are strong companies, right? You can see there's a lot of history to this company. It bounces, it goes down, it bounces. It doesn't matter. It goes down, it bounces, goes down, it bounces. That's a strong company. Logitech goes down, bounces, go down, bounces. This is one I'm watching. I do want this over 95. The only concern is the earnings they have on Monday. So that's one I'm watching for that. Shopify, look at that beat, right? 1,000%, 1,200% on that. And it's getting beat down. That's one I want to get into, right? These are expensive contracts. You can get into shares, you know, start averaging in, and my stop out probably on this is going to be pretty wide at 1,000 here. So that's about 200 bucks. But I'll do shares on this and I'll just hold it, right? If it comes back down here, I'm going to add more, right? I'm risking $200, well, 180 to make $300. So that's a good one for me, right? But you can see why, right? Look at that earnings beat. That was a crap out and it came back down, right? That was a good beat, came back down. So strong companies will bounce back. You want to get into those. Lam Research, I'm not sure if a lot of you guys know what this company does. These guys make wafers for the semiconductor chips, right? 3% down. Okay, that's nothing. Trend line, you can see trend line support here, support here, support here. If it comes back to the trend line, that's my entry. Up here, I don't want to get in, you know. This is another one. Comes back down here to 350s, I'll get into that one. Other than that, I'm staying out. There's so many companies out there. You guys just need to find them. IBD, like I mentioned, is a good company. It's a good resource to get leaders in the industry. You know, they will give you, like this was IDEX, right? And they will give you a good breakdown of what to watch out for. So let's look at one of those examples. It will tell you what the buy point is. It will tell you a bit about the history of what it does, where the buy point ends, and pretty much where your stop loss should be, you know, earnings, whatever's coming up. So this one, free resource. You guys should be using this. One I'm watching right now is Spotify. It's coming down here to 250. I want to see if that holds, and if it makes a base there, that's where I would enter in there, right? Was 330, almost 400 at one point here. You know, I will risk $40-50 to the downside for $100 to the upside. That's what I will play. I'm not gonna look for something, you know, that's already pretty high and be like, oh, I'm gonna get in here. No. So IBD, Quant for the flow. They do have, these are the other two that you guys might want to look at. This is the other one, Cheddar or Flow Algo, right? So let me. These are about expensive. I believe Cheddar is about $100 and Flow is maybe 100 and something. You know, they are pretty good. They're leaders in this. They've been doing this a while. And Flow Algo has a better user interface. You know, it looks better. It's organized better, but it's expensive. Especially if you want to try something. I don't think Flow Algo has a trial, but I know Cheddar has a 7-day trial you can try. So, you know, these are resources that you should be using as a options trader. You want to use those resources. You want to make sure you add something to your game that makes you a bit better. Some people use, I use TradingView for my charting. Some people use Trend Spider. Some people use stock charts. Whatever works for you, right? What I like about TradingView is the templates. You can save different templates on here. So this is my default template, but I'll show you guys my other template is the one with trend indicators, right? Pretty easy for me to switch back and forth. I don't have to start adjusting indicators. I hit trend or no trend and it does it for me, right? I have about 5 or 6 indicators on each one, and you know, saves you time. You can do screenshots, you can do journaling in here, you can do a lot of things in here. if you want to use that resource. There is a lot of indicators with the trend, and they keep adding new ones every day. So it's a pretty good resource if you guys want to use it. All right, I think I've done enough talking. If you guys have any questions, go ahead. If not, I'm gonna end the stream. Sorry, go ahead. Okay, I guess that wasn't for me. If you guys have any questions, fire away, or I'm gonna end the stream here for now. Yes. Done. All yours. Okay. I have a few more. I have a volume profile one. Let me see if I have it here. Let me see this one. This is the Investor Business Daily. This is pretty good, but this is pretty long, so I don't know if you guys would be interested in that one. Yeah, sorry. This was sort of, you know, just out of the blue. I wanted to jump on here, see what you guys were thinking. Yeah, sure. Hold on. All right. Okay, so a question I normally get is how do you do this? How do you trade? How do you trade and moderate? I have a full-time job, right? I'm pretty sure almost all the VIPs on here do have a full-time job as well. It's not easy, but you know, we make it work, right? Sometimes we are a bit slow in responding to DMs, to questions. If you ping us in chat, sorry, I might miss some of them. Like I said, I do have a full-time job. I do moderate as well. So there's a lot going on. How do I do it though? I trade on my phone. I chart on my computer here. So I have trading view on my computer, charted, whatever. I do my transactions on my phone. It's hard, right? I'm in an office job, so it's a bit easier, but it is hard when you're trying to do day trades, and you know, you gotta watch the chart and you gotta, you know, look at where it's going. I prefer swing trades because of that. A lot of people I know are unable to watch the charts all day. I am not able to watch the charts all day. Sometimes stuff gets in the way, a meeting comes up. So, you know, we do what we can. I do recommend you guys keep a journal. I keep my own journal here on all my trades that I've called out, and these are my trades. I haven't updated this in a while. I think I'm like 2 weeks behind. Yeah, at least 2 weeks behind. This is a trade I had called out. This was May 47 calls, new one on March 22nd. If you look at new one, boom, right? This is the day that it was announced Microsoft is looking to buy them out. 47 calls. This opened at 54. That was about $7 or $8 in the money, so that's a good play. I do recommend, like I said, keep a journal, right? Look at what you're winning, what you're losing. When I started keeping my journal, a lot of my losses were lottos. You can see here, lotto. I lost a lot on those, right? I cut them out. I cut out a lot of those, and I started being smarter with those, right? This is that week of death in March, you know. Took a lot of losses there, but I, you know, keep my losses. I try to keep my losses small, like that one there. That was a lotto, so that's 100% loss. That's what a lotto is, right? Stuff like that. Took a 19% loss, 50% loss on there, right? You will take losses. No one is, you know, gonna have 100% success rate. So far, my rate is at 74%. Which is pretty decent, you know. It could be better, but it could be a lot worse. And considering we went through that whole correction, you know, so I gotta close a few of these. But no, keep a journal, you know. Write down your notes on the side. Why did you get in? Why did you, you know, like this one was a hedge. This one was a triple top that you could reject, and it did. So I took a loss on that one. FDA play, keep a notes section there. Just, you know, put some notes in there. Make sure you know why you're getting in. That way, when you go back and analyze, you will see what you did wrong. So, all right. If there's nothing else, I will be ending this stream here. Thank you for joining me, guys. It was nice having you. And if you guys want those books, just hit me up. All right. I hope you all have a good weekend.